every morning you get to say hello to the next Vice President of the United States of America. Good morning, Senator Tim Kaine. What a thrill and an honor this is.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hang on. Here we go, Senator. There
we
you
go.
are. Good morning, Senator.
Great.
Good morning. Sorry about that. Good morning, sir.
Hey, glad to be on the show.
Well, I have to start, Senator, by saying my big sister lives in Lynchburg with her family. My niece lives in Richmond, and they both love them some Tim Kaine. Can I just tell you? They were.
Well, that makes me feel good. I was the mayor of Richmond, and my wife has a bunch of relatives in Lynchburg, so both great cities. And I'm going to cross my fingers that Virginians are going to be very supportive of our ticket.
Absolutely, that's certainly what the polling's showing. But my sister absolutely said that Tim Kaine is beloved in Virginia. She was so thrilled about the pick. And I have to tell you something else, Senator. I don't know if you know, but my dad ran for vice president with Barry Goldwater in -- So
I do know that. And your dad had quite an interesting. He made an interesting history because when John F. Kennedy was elected, and he broke that barrier of being the first Catholic president, and it was controversial.
Yep.
Then Barry Goldwater put your dad on the ticket. And wasn't your dad Catholic?
Absolutely, and I know you are.
But it was 4 years later. It was a non-issue. So
that's right.
Kind of a cool story there that you break a barrier down, and then it becomes normal, and then the next person, it's not an issue. So I've always thought that was kind of an interesting thing about your dad being on that ticket.
Well, thank you. And he was also chairman of the RNC. You were chairman of the DNC. So this is just a particular thrill for me to get to talk to you this morning.
Well, I'm glad we could, Stephanie.
Senator Kaine, the other thing I was laughing about, and I think the Hillary campaign listens to me because I suggested that you run the Daisy ad that they ran against my dad in Coldwater, and sure enough, there it is. It's the little girl that was in that ad grown up. But it makes a very important point that you
could find the fact that they could find that little girl and now have her do that ad as a grown woman. That was pretty amazing.
It really is. But I have to say, it's also the point that is very, very serious that you and Secretary Clinton have been making about how very terrifying and dangerous it is to think about Donald Trump with the nuclear codes.
It's very dangerous. Donald Trump, he kind of has this fascination with things that are dangerous, and especially when it gets into the nuclear realm. And during the campaign, he has said he thinks Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea either can or just are likely to get nuclear weapons, and he's okay with that. He kind of views that as, well, great, they get nuclear weapons, we don't need to help them out so much. But he's blind to the fact that more nations with nuclear weapons not only trigger a nuclear arms race, but there are also nations where, if terrorists wanted to go and try to knock over an arsenal and grab a weapon, it makes it easier for terrorists to get a hold of weapons. So Donald Trump's belief that, more nations get nuclear weapons, no problem, runs counter to virtually everything that anybody in the national security field believes to be true.
Senator, I think the thing that makes this even more disturbing is we have just never seen an election cycle like this. And I know you may not be able to comment, but there certainly are a lot of stories breaking as we speak about his ties to Russia. And, we'll see what happens with that. But even today's story that James Comey decided not to, have the FBI sign on to this letter that it is Russia meddling in our election because it was too close to the election, which I'm sure the irony of that is fairly thick for you.
Well, it is. I mean, first on Russia and then on the FBI letter. So here are documented facts that Russia is engaged in an effort to influence the outcome of this election through hacks of all kinds of folks, state boards of elections, the DNC, individuals. And that has been confirmed by the complete cross-section of American intel and military leaders. And the FBI director apparently did not challenge that. He believes that the evidence is there to establish it. So how dangerous is that? If anybody needs one more reason to vote this time, we should be voting to send a message to any foreign nation that would try to influence our election that, hey, we know how to run elections and we don't need you butting in. But then you add to it, that is a fact, but Donald Trump's principal campaign chair up until August had to step down from the campaign because of his ties to pro-Russian elements in both the Ukraine and Russia. So when you've had the person who was with Donald Trump from the very beginning having to step down in the last 2 months of the campaign because of his close ties to Russia, you had Donald Trump stand on a stage and encourage Russia to engage in cyber activity and find stuff to help him win the election. And then during the debates, as you saw, Donald Trump would not accept the consensus of these American intelligence officials that Russia was involved in these activities. He said there is no evidence to support that. When he's been briefed on the evidence, just like I have, why is he standing on stage and trying to be Vladimir Putin's defense lawyer?
Thank you. And
he should be speaking up for the United States.
And Senator, once again, I can't even imagine what my dad in Goldwater would think, what Reagan would think, I think, as Secretary Clinton has pointed out. But I'm wondering, my sense, and I don't know what yours is from being out there, is that, and I think the polling is bearing that out, that this is only activating our base. And people on both sides of the aisles, of course, have condemned James Comey's actions here. What is your sense of it?
It's making our folks mad, because it does seem like a little bit of a double standard for the reason that you set out. Really, there are two protocols that law enforcement officials follow that were both broken in that letter Friday, and we don't really understand why. Why would you break them? So the first one is not talking about a pending investigation, and the second one is not releasing controversial information right before an election. Now, we know that these are strong protocols that have been in place for a long time. We know that Director Comey believes in these protocols. When he testified before Congress at the end of September, and he was asked repeatedly about concerns about Russia engaging in these activities, over and over again he said, I will not comment upon any pending investigation, even to say whether or not there's an investigation going on. And then on the 7th of October, when the national intelligence community released the letter saying that Russia was engaging in these activities, the reporting yesterday suggests he agreed with the evidence, that did not want to sign on to the letter because he didn't believe the FBI should be commenting on something controversial right before an election. So if he understands that these are the protocols and has been acting in accord with the protocols up till just recently, why issue this vague letter Friday that violated both of the protocols? It seems like a double standard,
I'll say.
And I really think the burden is on him to explain why.
Yep, absolutely. Senator, I know you have a very busy schedule, I'm told. I can't imagine why, but I have some airplane reading for you. Tim Kaine's Feminism on Vox.com. I highly recommend it. It is because I loved what you said. You said it's important to normalize that a woman can be president. It's also important to normalize that strong men can support a woman as president. And they call you in here the anti-Donald Trump, and it really is true. And I just...
Well, I will say, Stephanie, the reason I say that is, if I'm honest with myself about my political career, I've been on the ballot 8 times before this race, but I've always been the one with my name on the ballot and on the yard sign and on the bumper sticker, but with strong women being campaign managers, cabinet secretaries, agency heads. My wife is a great public servant. She's had to sacrifice a lot for me. When Hillary asked me to be on this ticket, I just basically said, look, with all the strong women who supported me for so long, payback isn't hell. Payback is fantastic. This is exactly what I should be doing at this phase of my life, playing a supportive role to help make history and then help Hillary Clinton's administration be the best it can be.
And do you enjoy all the dad jokes about yourself?
Oh, they do have a ring of truth to them. And I will say my 3 children have been doing their best to do that for 25 years.
Well, they are lucky, and so are we. Senator Kaine, really such a thrill and an honor, and best of luck on the campaign trail. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate talking.
Thank you, Senator. There he goes. Oh, my God. I got a little chill.
Yeah,
We're talking to the next vice president.
just yesterday,
I feel like he calls everyone sport.
Trump had a rally
Yeah.
where he was saying, Hillary Clinton's going to start World War III. She wants a nuclear war. Look in the mirror, you idiot.
I wish we had, maybe we'll get him again. I wish we had more time with him, because I thought, I can't even imagine what it's like to be running a campaign against Donald Trump. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
They are so great on all the issues. If you really listen to Hillary or to Tim Kaine talk, this campaign hasn't really gotten to be about issues, about all the incredible, great plans they have for stuff. It's this constant, responding to his ridiculousness.
Yes.
Right? Oh, anyway, you got it. Yeah, you have
He's
to.
amazing. He's great.
Oh my God. He's so nice.
Look at you go giddy.
I just feel like he was wearing a sweater vest and he was going to go, good job, sport. Did a good job in that interview,
Put
Tim.
his hand pat on your back, on your shoulder. You did good. You did good stuff.
All right, Dad. I'll get the soccer balls in the van. Thanks. You got to read this. Vox.com will put it up. But I love this. Think about the campaign Donald Trump has run, the person he is, and how he models masculinity to young men. And then think about Tim Kaine and how he's modeling masculinity to young men. The Clinton campaign really did manage to find the man who is temperamentally and biographically the opposite of Trump. For more than 3 decades, he and his family have attended St. Elizabeth's. We talked about that. He had that in common with my dad, Catholic, a traditionally black church, though, in Richmond. He said he and his family have gone there so they can regularly experience the feeling of being in the racial minority. Can you imagine Donald Trump? Contrast with Trump's whole campaign, which is about nostalgically invoking the feeling of what it's like to be a yet more dominant racial majority and promising to restore that feeling for his base. Talks about Trump is obviously sued for housing discrimination. Kaine is a civil rights lawyer who made his name fighting housing discrimination. Trump began his campaign by calling Mexican immigrants murderers and rapists. Kaine's formative life experience was living amid deep poverty in Honduras. They say Tim Kaine really is the anti-Trump, and he is. He's
Absolutely.
And he speaks Spanish.
He's going.
Yes.
He's going. What do you call it? Thursday. He's going to give a speech. The first speech all in Spanish in Arizona on Thursday.
That is so cool.
And we'll probably mention Governor Bonefinger. I'm sure she will greet him on the tarmac with her bony finger. Put it in his face.